agenda of the 8th Senate is anchored on three cardinal objectives of improving governance, improving business, and improving livelihood. We believe that legislative activities that sustainably improve on these three indicators will improve the economy and ultimately guarantee a better life for our people. The collapse in the oil price has without doubt brought huge shock to our economy on a scale that perhaps has never been experienced before. This requires us to develop creative strategies that will stimulate business and investments in other sectors. For decades, we have talked about the need to diversify our economy, but we have failed to take the necessary steps in policy and legislations that will set us on the path on developing the kind of economy that we desire. The Ease of Doing Business report that ranks our country 167 out of 189 countries is not likely to attract business into our economy. The Senate understands this. With the support from our international development partners, the organized private sector, we commissioned an expert report which identified 54 extant laws that must be reviewed and brought in line with international best practices in order to open our economy for private investment and business. These legislative interventions yielded about 15 major economic reform bills and 7 business environment bills. Some of these bills have since entered the dockets of the Senate and at various stages of consideration, as some also have been passed by the Senate. Chief among those passed include the Electronic Transaction Bill 2015, Debt Recovery and Insolvency Bill 2015, and the Railway Bill, which is being considered through the final lap. All these bills represent a watershed in economic and business legislations in our country. The Electronic Transaction Bill 2015, for example, will be the first legal framework ever in our country that provides a legal foundation for electronic signatures and guarantees predictability in contracts made electronically. Once signed into law, this bill will offer full protections to contracts entered via emails and transactions conducted with online shops, electronic commerce, and service platforms, which are currently not provided for in our laws. Another obvious benefit of this bill is to reduce the cost of doing business by eliminating transport and other logistic costs. By passing this bill, the Senate has given legitimacy and local application to United Nations Convention on the use of electronic communications in international contracts, which was adopted by the General Assembly of the United Nations on the 23rd of November 2005. This new legal framework, when signed into law, will embolden our innovative creativity and open new areas of investment opportunity for our youth and startups who hitherto suffered lack of support from creditors and investors due to the absence of this law. This implication is that we now have opportunities to see the emergence of new generation online electronic application giants in the mode of Chinedu Icheuru. Another important bill that has emerged in our ease of doing business is the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Repeal and Amendment Bill 2015. These are superstructures on which 21st century Nigerian economy must be built on. Nigeria has been ranked very low in dealing with corporate insolvency due to multiple costly unwieldy resolution framework under the old Act of 1979. Aside from removing the clogs in the process of transiting insolvency to administration, this new bill guarantees that the process becomes even more efficient, less exhausting, and result-orientated. This is one bill that has the potential to transform the Nigerian financial landscape by enabling consistent supply of credit, attracting new capital, and expertise into business revival. There is no gainsaying that an efficient transportation system is a critical component of economic development anywhere. For the first time since 1927, the Railway Bill, which opened up the subsector and tracked required private capital into this segment of our transport system that has oppressed stock in the past. The influx of private sector players, state and local government, will not only stimulate rapid rural development, it will also create economic values by making transportation of goods more efficient, safer, cheaper, The direct and indirect implications this will have on an economy, especially the agricultural subsector, cannot be overemphasized. I am confident that this very important bill will also be passed soon. Review of the Public Procurement Act is another major intervention by the Senate. This review is inspired by the need to guarantee government patronage for local manufacturers. Our desire is to ensure that a substantial part of the $6 trillion in the national budget of this year is retained in the local economy and put in the pockets of our people. We believe that if government is obligated to patronize local businesses, wealth will be created, local industries will grow, productivity will increase, and we will begin to see real reduction in mass unemployment. In adopting this approach, we have drawn inspiration from other developed economies that have done the same thing at a crucial stage in their development. The United States did the same thing around 1922 with the Buy America policy that was promoted by the Herbert Hoover administration. China, South Africa, and other countries have similar laws that creatively promote local businesses. The Agricultural Credit Scheme Bill and the Chartered Institute for Soil Science Bill that we just passed into law are part of a critical segment of legislative interventions we have designed to boost the current policy on agriculture as a major plank of the diversification policy of government. In the coming months, we are determined to continue to focus on the legislative agenda as high-impact legislation across critical sectors of our economy. Distinguished colleagues, I have gone to fairly great lengths to articulate some of the work we have done in the last 1 year. I have done this to underline the fact that it is only through these functions that our performance to be measured by Nigerians and our present year will be justified. By outlining these interventions, we are also able to appreciate the great work that still lies ahead of us. Like I have said earlier, the big challenge for our generation is that of creating a modern economy that is capable of delivering prosperity to all our citizens. We in the Senate will continue to find creative solutions to the old problems that have kept our country from realizing its full potentials. This is the work we have been elected to do. Distinguished colleagues, for too long, Nigerians have challenged us to justify our presence in this chamber. Many have wondered exactly what do we do here? Why should we be entitled to certain privileges? I believe that the best answer we can provide to all this is to continue to seek ways that will enable the ordinary citizen feel the impact of the Senate in their lives. I dream of a day when the poor woman sitting in her house in the rural Oka will be able to see the benefits of our work in her life. I dream of a day when a child going to school in Guzo will feel the benefit of the laws that we make. I dream of a day when a young lady in Oshogo will be able to see how Senate has helped our small business. I dream of a day when a farmer in Ogoja will see how those of us gathered in this chamber has helped to improve his life. I am confident if we continue on the path that we have walked in the past year, that day will come soon. In the light of that, we have continued to lay emphasis and focus our attention on matters that directly touch our people. For us, it is our first priority to use lawmaking as a tool to play our part in the struggle to ensure that the welfare and security of our people remains paramount in the discharge of governance. You will recall that within the first month of assumption of office, the leadership visited the IDP camps where some of our brothers and sisters displaced by insurgency are staying. We went there to feel their plight and to assure them that they are not forgotten. We pledged as lawmakers will do whatever is necessary to support government to alleviate their problems. Today, we are also on the verge of passing the Northeast Development Commission Bill, which we see as a critical instrument to bring in succor to displaced, restoring and rebuilding Northeast. We have continued to approach our work within this policy in mind. That is why we have sought and engaged with Labour, the Ministry of Power on electric tariff, and continue to address issues of injustice where we are called upon to intervene. We are determined to continue to pursue engagement and consultation as a major legislative policy where people take ownership and our legislative authorities further enhanced. We look forward to further engaging in the health sector, education sector, as we have done in the organized